What happens when you strip away absolutely everything? Welcome back. If you're familiar with this explainer, you know we operate under a strict, uncompromising literalist mandate. Our job is solely to analyze the source material we're provided. No fluff, no wild assumptions, and definitely no projecting. Just pure, unadulterated data. And today, we are exploring what is literally the most relentlessly tiny data set we've ever encountered. Prepare yourselves, because this is going to fundamentally challenge how we look at the very concept of information. Okay, let's dive into this. When I say minimal, I mean it in the absolute, extreme sense of the word. Our entire source material for today's rigorous analysis, the complete universe of data we've been given to deconstruct, consists of an exact number of characters, and that number is 1. Just one single character makes up our entire universe of provided knowledge today.
Section 1. The complete source text, an unprecedented reveal.
B. I want you to just let the sheer visual weight of this single letter sink in for a second. This is it. This is our entire data set. Alone, lowercase b. There's no context, no preceding words, no punctuation to guide us. It is information presented in its most shockingly atomic state.
Section 2. Analyzing the character, the literal parameters.
Now, what's really interesting about this is when we methodically examine the literal, observable facts derived straight from our prompt. For content, it's definitively established as the character B. Then we check capitalization, and there is none. It's strictly lowercase. And then we hit what might be the most profound metric here. Surrounding context? Absolutely none. We're dealing with pure data isolated in a total vacuum. It's a stunning display of absolute isolation.
Section 3. The lowercase form, a study in scale.
So, the crucial point is that this data point exists entirely, exclusively in the lowercase. No capitalization is present whatsoever. And why does that actually matter? Well, because capitalization usually indicates a beginning, right? The start of a sentence, a proper noun, an assertion of importance. But the absence of capitalization here means it's not a beginning. It claims no hierarchical dominance. It just is. It stands completely alone, stripped of the structural hierarchy that usually governs written language.
Section 4. The absence of context, examining the negative space.
We have looked deeply at the character itself, but what about the space around it? No other text is provided. Let that echo for a second. We're leaning heavily into the negative space here, because that negative space is virtually infinite. There are absolutely no adjectives to color our data point, no verbs to give it action or momentum, no syntax to give it a home. Just a vast, unending digital silence surrounding our singular, solitary piece of data. And this brilliantly illustrates that 100% of our provided textual universe is composed solely of this single lowercase letter. It has a total, undeniable monopoly on our dataset. It's the beginning, the middle, and the end of our provided reality. There's no slice for nuance, no sliver for additional variables. It is literally 100% B.
Let's move to and see how this builds our absolute baseline. Because we cannot and will not hallucinate outside context, we are left entirely alone with this singular isolated definition. B is the entirety of the provided text presented completely without punctuation, narrative, or supplementary information. It's defined entirely and only by its own isolated existence.
Section 5. Final thoughts on BI, the impact of absolute minimalism.
We've journeyed through the typography, the profound isolation, and the pure metrics of this tiny data set. The energy here is palpable because we're standing at a philosophical high point. We return to the complete source text one last time. B. I want to ask you to deeply reflect on the nature of information. What happens to meaning when it's stripped down to its most minimal absolute extreme? Does it lose its meaning, or does it become a vessel for pure structural observation? Without context, this single letter forces us to confront the bare, fundamental mechanics of communication and data transmission itself.
So, what does this absence of data tell us? I'm going to leave you with this final, provocative thought. Stare into this question. Let the profound impact of absolute minimalism really wash over you today. Sometimes, having virtually zero data teaches us more about the boundaries of our own perception and analytical frameworks than a million-word document ever could. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredibly focused deep dive. Keep questioning the data, keep seeking clarity in the margins, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.